Hold up, hold up, hold up. You heard that right. Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time Formula One world champion, the guy who makes left turns at 200 miles per hour look easy, allegedly went to Kris Jenner, the momager of all momagers, to ask permission to marry Kim Kardashian. And Kanye? Well, let's just say Ye did not see that one coming. If you thought celebrity drama couldn't get any wilder, buckle up, because this story has more twists than a Kardashian plotline and more horsepower than Hamilton's Mercedes. Before we dive into this absolute madness, do me a solid. If you're here for the tea, the drama, and everything in between, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss when Hollywood decides to lose its mind. Trust me, you're going to want front row seats to this circus. Now, let's rewind for a second, because this story is the kind of thing that sounds like it came straight out of a fever dream. We're talking about 3 of the most high-profile people on the planet colliding in the most unexpected way possible. On one side, you've got Kanye West, the genius/controversial rapper who has never met a headline he did not want to dominate. On the other, there's Lewis Hamilton, the British racing legend who is basically royalty on 4 wheels. And smack in the middle, Kim Kardashian and her mother, Kris Jenner, the dynamic duo who turned reality television into a billion-dollar empire. This is not your average love triangle. This is a celebrity supernova. So how did we even get here? Well, let's talk about Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian first. These two have been orbiting each other in the celebrity stratosphere for years. They run in the same circles, attend the same glitzy events, and frankly, they are both at the absolute top of their respective games. Hamilton is not just any race car driver. The man has won more championships than most people have fingers. He's a fashion icon, a social justice advocate, and he hangs out with everyone from Beyoncé to Tommy Hilfiger. Meanwhile, Kim K, she's the queen of pop culture, a business mogul worth hundreds of millions, and someone who can break the internet with a single Instagram post. These two meeting? Not shocking. These two allegedly getting serious enough that Hamilton wanted to put a ring on it? Now that is where things get spicy. But here's where the story goes from interesting to absolutely bonkers. Instead of doing what most people would do, getting down on one knee and popping the question directly to Kim, Lewis Hamilton allegedly decided to go old school, like really old school. We're talking asking the parents for their blessing old school. Except in this case, the parent in question wasn't some regular suburban dad. It was Kris Jenner, the woman who negotiates million-dollar deals before breakfast, who has managed her daughter's careers with the precision of a military general, and who probably has more lawyers on speed dial than anyone else in California. Going to Kris for permission is not just a formality. It's basically like asking the CEO of Kardashian Incorporated if you can merge companies. Think about that for a second. Lewis Hamilton, a man who faces death-defying speeds on a weekly basis, who has nerves of absolute steel, apparently thought the scariest thing he could do was sit down with Kris Jenner and ask if he could marry her daughter. And honestly, he might be right. I mean, this is the same woman who turned a leaked tape into a media empire, who has orchestrated more comebacks than a phoenix, and who once looked at the concept of privacy and said, "No thanks, we'll monetize everything instead." If you're going to ask permission to join that family, you better come correct. Now, sources close to the situation, and by sources we mean the whisper network of celebrity insiders who live for this stuff, claim that Hamilton approached Kris with the utmost respect. He allegedly wanted to do things the right way, show that his intentions were serious, and demonstrated that he was not just another celebrity fling. Because, let's be real, Kim's dating history reads like a who's who of Hollywood and the sports world. There was the marriage to Kris Humphries that lasted 72 days and became a cultural punchline. There was the decade-long relationship with Kanye that produced 4 children and enough controversy to fill a library. There was the Pete Davidson era that had everyone doing double takes. Kim has been around the block, and Kris has seen every type of suitor imaginable. For Hamilton to stand out, he would need to bring his A-game. And apparently, he did. Word on the street is that Kris was impressed. Here's a guy who is accomplished in his own right, who doesn't need the Kardashian name for fame or fortune, and who genuinely seemed to care about Kim's well-being. In the Jenner household, that's basically hitting the jackpot. Kris allegedly gave her blessing, or at the very least, did not immediately shut the whole thing down, which in Kris Jenner language is basically a ringing endorsement. But then we get to the Kanye-sized elephant in the room, because while all of this was allegedly happening, nobody thought to give Ye the heads up. And when Kanye West finds out about major Kim Kardashian news through the grapevine instead of directly, that's when things get messy. Kanye's reaction, according to insiders, was exactly what you would expect from someone who has never been accused of underreacting to anything. Shocked doesn't even begin to cover it. We're talking full-blown disbelief, the kind of reaction you have when someone tells you the sky is actually purple and they have receipts to prove it. Because in Kanye's mind, he and Kim share 4 children together. They built a life, a brand, and a legacy as a couple. Even after their divorce, even after all the drama and the public statements and the social media rants, there is still a connection there. And finding out that another man, especially someone as high profile as Lewis Hamilton, was serious enough to go to Kris Jenner for permission, that had to sting.
But here is where it gets even more interesting. Kanye's shock was not just about jealousy or possessiveness, though, let's be honest, those emotions were probably in the mix. It was about the principle of the thing. In Kanye's world, he is still the father of Kim's children, still a part of that family unit in some capacity. And the fact that Hamilton went to Kris instead of having any kind of conversation with him, that felt like a disrespect, like he was being cut out of the loop in his own family's business. And if there is one thing Kanye West does not handle well, it is feeling disrespected or ignored. Now, some people might say Kanye's reaction was over the top. After all, he and Kim are divorced. She has every right to move on, date whoever she wants, and make her own decisions. And that is absolutely true. But emotions do not always follow logic, especially when you're talking about someone as passionate and intense as Kanye. This is a man who has interrupted award shows, run for president, and redesigned Adidas sneakers. Subtlety is not in his vocabulary. So when he heard about Hamilton's move, the shock was real, the feelings were raw, and the potential for drama was off the charts. What makes this whole situation even more fascinating is the contrast between the two men. Lewis Hamilton is smooth, polished, and diplomatic. He's the kind of guy who can navigate high-pressure situations with grace, whether he's overtaking competitors at Silverstone or walking the red carpet at the Met Gala. He's calculated, thoughtful, and strategic. Kanye, on the other hand, is chaos personified. He has raw emotion, unfiltered thoughts, and creative genius wrapped in controversy. He's the guy who says what everyone else is thinking but would never dare to say out loud. Putting these two in the same orbit, competing for the attention and affection of the same woman, it's like mixing fire and gasoline and then wondering why there is an explosion. And let's not forget about Kim in all of this, because while the men are busy having their feelings, Kim is out here living her best life. She's built a billion-dollar empire with Skims, she's studying law and working on criminal justice reform, and she's raising 4 kids while somehow still looking flawless at every public appearance. Kim Kardashian does not need a man to define her or complete her. She has proven that time and time again. But that doesn't mean she's not open to love, to companionship, to finding someone who matches her energy and ambition. Lewis Hamilton, on paper at least, checks a lot of boxes. He's successful, driven, socially conscious, and he moves in the same elite circles. He is also based in multiple countries, which means he understands the demands of a high-profile, globe-trotting lifestyle. He's not going to be clingy or demanding because he has his own career that requires constant travel and attention. In many ways, he's the perfect match for someone like Kim, who values independence but also wants a partner who gets it. But then there is the question of whether this whole thing is even real. Because let's be honest, in the world of celebrity gossip, sometimes the wildest stories are just that. Stories, rumors, speculation based on a grainy photo or an overheard conversation that gets twisted and exaggerated until it barely resembles reality. There has not been any official confirmation from Kim, Lewis, or Kris about any engagement plans. No ring has been spotted, no announcement has been made. And in the age of social media, where celebrities control their own narratives, the silence is deafening. So what are we left with? A tantalizing possibility. A what-if scenario that has the internet buzzing and the tabloids working overtime. Because whether it's true or not, the story itself tells us something important about celebrity culture. We are obsessed with these people. We care about who they are dating, who they are marrying, and how they are navigating their complicated personal lives. We project our own fantasies and dramas onto them, turning them into characters in a soap opera that never ends. And in this particular soap opera, you've got all the ingredients for must-see television. You've got the successful athlete trying to do the honorable thing. You've got the momager matriarch who holds all the power. You've got the ex-husband who can't quite let go. And you've got the leading lady who is just trying to live her life while the world watches her every move. It's messy, it's dramatic, and it's absolutely captivating. What happens next? Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe Lewis and Kim really are serious, and we'll see an engagement announcement any day now. Maybe the whole thing is overblown, and they are just friends who happen to respect each other. Maybe Kanye will continue to have feelings about whoever Kim dates, because that's just who he is. Or maybe, just maybe, this is all part of the never-ending media circus that keeps us entertained and distracted from our own lives. One thing is for sure, though. In the world of celebrity drama, the Kardashians remain undefeated champions. They know how to keep us talking, keep us guessing, and keep us coming back for more. Whether this story is real or manufactured, it has done its job. It's got us engaged, debating, and desperately wanting to know what happens next. Thanks for watching, folks. Stay tuned for whatever wildness comes next in the celebrity universe.